For thousands of years, the galaxy had one simple rule: never underestimate a predator. The stronger species ruled the stars, the bigger species conquered planets, and the creatures with claws, fangs, armored bodies, and impossible strength became legends. The smaller ones became jokes. That was why, when the human arrived at the grand arena of Varkos Prime, the entire galaxy laughed. Because the human was tiny. Embarrassingly tiny. The average warrior standing around him was at least 3 meters tall. Some had 4 arms, some had armored scales thick enough to stop plasma weapons, and some had teeth longer than the human's entire hand. But the human? He looked almost fragile. 2 arms, 2 legs, soft skin, no claws, no horns, no natural armor, just a worn-out black jacket, a small backpack, and tired eyes. The announcer looked at the human entry file and laughed. Species, human. He paused before reading the next line. Height, 1.7 meters. The crowd went silent for half a second, and then exploded with laughter. 1.7? A giant warrior from the Draker Empire stood up. That's not a warrior. That's a meal. The crowd laughed even harder. The announcer smiled and looked back at the human. Human contestant. Name? The human looked up calmly. Alex. The announcer checked the file again. Alex what? The human hesitated for a moment. Alex Carter. The arena screens displayed his image. A young man barely 20 years old. No military records. No famous battles. No legendary bloodline. Nothing that suggested he belonged in an arena full of monsters. The Emperor of Varkos Prime leaned forward from his golden throne. Why is this creature here? The human looked directly at him. To compete. More laughter filled the arena. A massive alien warrior stepped into the battlefield. His name was Kar, a champion of the Zorak species. The galaxy knew him. Kar had defeated hundreds of warriors across countless worlds. His body was covered with black armor plates, his 4 eyes glowed yellow, and his hands were powerful enough to crush steel. He looked down at Alex and smiled. You are brave, little creature. Alex raised an eyebrow. Is that supposed to be an insult? Kar shook his head. No, it is a fact. You are brave because you do not understand how weak you are. The crowd cheered. Alex looked around at thousands of alien faces waiting to see him fail, waiting for humanity to prove itself as a mistake. But then something unexpected happened. The tiny human smiled. Not a scared smile. Not a fake one. A tired human smile. You know something? Kar stared at him. What? Alex tightened his fists. Humans have heard that speech before. The arena slowly became quiet. Every enemy we ever faced told us the same thing. We are too small. We are too weak. We are not supposed to survive. His eyes became colder. But somehow, we always do. The fight began. Kar moved first. A blur of black armor and terrifying speed. His fist crashed down with enough force to shake the entire arena. The crowd screamed. Everyone expected the human to be crushed. But when the dust cleared, Alex was standing behind him. Kar turned slowly, confused. Impossible. How did this tiny creature move so fast? He attacked again, and again. Every strike could destroy a vehicle, but Alex kept moving. He wasn't stronger. He wasn't bigger. He was simply smarter. The aliens began to notice something strange. Humans did not fight like predators. They fought like survivors. They watched. They adapted. They learned. Finally, Kar grabbed Alex and lifted him into the air. His giant hand closed around the human's body. The crowd cheered. Finished. Kar looked at him. You fought well, little creature. Alex struggled but then looked at him and said something that made the entire arena go silent. Your left shoulder. Kar frowned. What? Alex pointed. You always protect your left side. The alien froze. Because it was true. 1,000 battles. 1,000 enemies. Nobody had noticed. Except this tiny human. Alex continued. Because you were injured there. Kar's eyes narrowed. How do you know? Alex smiled. Because humans don't just look at what can kill us. We look for what made it survive. The next moment, Alex moved. Not against Car's strength, against his weakness. One perfect strike. Car's arm released him and the giant warrior dropped to one knee. The entire galaxy went silent. A human had defeated the strongest warrior in the arena. The Emperor stood in disbelief. This is impossible. But then the lights flickered. The arena doors slowly opened, and every creature inside froze. Because something entered, something older, something even the galaxy feared. The apex predator, the creature that had hunted entire civilizations. The monster that even empires avoided. The legendary Ravik, massive, covered in dark scales, 4 glowing blue eyes, a creature that had never shown mercy. It entered the arena and looked directly at Alex. The human prepared himself, expecting an attack. Everyone expected the Ravik to tear him apart. But instead, the terrifying predator slowly lowered itself before him. The entire galaxy watched in silence as the creature whispered, "After all these years." Then the apex predator looked at the tiny human and said, "Little brother." The entire arena went silent. Not one creature moved. Not one warrior dared to breathe loudly. Because the most feared predator in the galaxy, the legendary Ravik, the creature that had destroyed armies and made entire civilizations disappear, was standing in front of a tiny human and calling him little brother. Alex stared at the massive alien in confusion. His hand was still raised, ready for a fight that never came. "I think you are confusing me with someone else," Alex said quietly. The Ravik slowly lifted his head, his 4 glowing blue eyes filled with something the galaxy had never seen from his species before. "Emotion." "No, human," the creature replied. "I have been searching for you for 30 years. The crowd began whispering. The Emperor of Varkos Prime looked disturbed. "Impossible. The Ravik have no family. They are hunters. They are monsters." The Ravik turned toward the Emperor and released a low growl that shook the arena walls. "That is what you taught the galaxy to believe." The Emperor stepped back. Everyone knew the Ravik were the ultimate predators. They were born stronger than almost every species. Their bones were like metal. Their senses could detect movement across planets, and their instincts made them unstoppable. But nobody knew the truth. The Ravik were not always monsters. Thousands of years ago, before the empires and wars, they were protectors. They guarded weaker civilizations. They saved worlds that could not defend themselves. Until the galaxy decided that kindness was weakness. The powerful species hunted the Ravik, feared their strength, and slowly turned their name into a symbol of terror. Alex looked at the creature. "Why do you keep calling me your brother?" The Ravik lowered his massive body until they were almost at the same level. "Because your ancestors saved my species." The entire arena gasped. Alex froze. "What?" The Ravik continued. "Long ago, my people were dying. A disease was destroying our young. Every empire refused to help us because they believed predators should disappear." His voice became heavier. But humans came. The arena screens suddenly changed. Ancient recordings appeared across the walls. A small human ship floating beside a massive Ravik planet. Human doctors walking among alien children. Human scientists giving medicine. Human soldiers protecting a species that was stronger than them. "Your ancestors looked at us and did not see monsters," the Ravik said. "They saw another living species." Alex looked at the images in silence. "Why did nobody tell us?" The Ravik looked away. "Because your history was erased." The Emperor suddenly shouted, "Lies. These creatures are manipulating you." The arena doors opened and hundreds of armored guards entered with weapons aimed at Alex and the Ravik. The Emperor pointed toward the human. "Kill them both. The human is nothing. The Ravik is a weapon we can control." But before the guards could move, the Ravik stood up. The temperature in the arena changed. The lights flickered. Every predator instinct in every alien body screamed the same warning. Danger. The Ravik was no longer calm. He was protecting someone. The guards fired. Thousands of energy blasts filled the arena. But Alex saw something strange. The Ravik did not attack. He protected. His massive body moved in front of Alex, taking the entire attack on himself. The explosions shook the ground. When the smoke cleared, the Ravik was still standing. Wounded, burning, but alive. Alex looked at him in shock. You could have killed them. The Ravik looked down. Yes. His voice was quiet. But humans taught us something. What? Alex asked. The Ravik looked at the fallen guards. Strength without mercy creates monsters. Those words hit Alex harder than any weapon. Because they sounded exactly like something his own father used to say. Something he thought he had forgotten. Then the Ravik suddenly looked toward the ceiling. His expression changed. They're coming. Alex looked up. Who? The Ravik's eyes narrowed. The ones who destroyed your world. The arena screens turned black. A message appeared across every display. Unknown fleet approaching. Millions of ships. The entire galaxy panicked. Because everyone knew what that meant. The ancient empire of the Void Kings had returned. A species older than all current civilizations. A species that believed every other life form existed only to serve them. Their massive warships appeared outside the planet, blocking the stars themselves. The Emperor smiled. Now you understand, human. This is why small species never survive. But Alex looked at the sky. He looked at the Ravik. And for the first time, he understood something. The galaxy had always measured strength by size, by weapons, by fear. But humans had survived because they had something different. They connected, they adapted, they protected. Alex stepped forward. How many ships? The Ravik looked at him. Millions. Alex nodded. How many humans are here? The Ravik was confused. What does that matter? Alex smiled slightly. Because you still don't understand us. The human looked toward the endless alien fleet. Humans don't win because we are the strongest. He clenched his fist. We win because when everything wants us to fall. He looked at the Ravik. We find someone to stand with us. For the first time in thousands of years, the galaxy witnessed something impossible. Humans and Ravik standing together. The smallest species and the most feared predator. Brothers, the Void King fleet opened fire. The first wave of destruction moved toward the planet. Everyone expected the end. But then every communication channel across the galaxy activated. A human voice appeared, calm, confident, and terrifying. This is Earth. Every alien froze. Because Earth had been silent for decades. The message continued. To every species watching, you laughed at us. You called us weak. You called us small. A pause. You were right about one thing. The galaxy waited. We are small, but you forgot something. The Ravik looked at Alex as the human smiled. Small things survive. The entire planet prepared for war. And for the first time in galactic history, the hunters became the hunted. The stars above Varkos Prime disappeared behind the endless fleet of the Void Kings. Millions of black warships covered the sky like a second darkness, each one carrying weapons powerful enough to erase entire civilizations. Every species watching from across the galaxy believed the same thing. This was the end. The human was too small. The Ravik was too damaged. And no matter how brave they were, nobody could stand against an empire that had ruled through fear for thousands of years. The Void King flagship moved forward, larger than any ship ever seen, its shadow covering entire continents. A hologram appeared above the planet. The face of the Void King commander looked down at the tiny human standing beside the legendary predator. So this is what the galaxy has become, the commander said with disgust. A weak creature and a broken beast pretending they can challenge us. The aliens across the galaxy watched silently. Everyone waited for Alex to answer. But Alex did something nobody expected. He smiled. The commander frowned. Why are you smiling? Alex looked at the massive fleet above him. Because I have heard those words before. The commander's eyes narrowed. Alex continued. Every enemy who thought they were unbeatable always said the same thing. He pointed toward the sky. You are too small. You are too weak. You cannot win. His voice became stronger. And every single time, they were wrong. The Ravik looked at Alex with pride. Because he finally understood why humans had survived for so long. They were not fearless. They were afraid more than anyone. But they moved forward anyway. The Void King commander raised his hand. Fire. Millions of weapons activated. The sky filled with energy. Then something strange happened. Every human ship that had been hidden around Varkos Prime turned on. Not hundreds. Not thousands. Millions. The galaxy watched in shock. Because humans had spent years building quietly. While everyone laughed at them, they learned. While everyone ignored them, they prepared. The human fleet was smaller than the Void King Armada, but every ship moved with perfect coordination. The commander laughed. You think numbers matter? Alex looked at him. No. He glanced at the Ravik. But family does. The battle began. The Void Kings attacked first. Their weapons destroyed planets. Their soldiers were stronger. Their technology was older. But the humans fought differently. They did not fight like an empire. They fought like a family protecting their home. A human pilot sacrificed his damaged ship to save another. A human engineer repaired weapons while under attack. A young soldier protected alien civilians even while his own ship was burning. The galaxy watched in disbelief. Because humanity was doing something impossible. They were making allies. Suddenly, the Ravik fleet arrived. Not one ship. Not one army. Every surviving Ravik warrior from every hidden colony. The galaxy had believed the Ravik were extinct. But they had been waiting. The Ravik leader appeared beside Alex. You saved us once. He looked toward the enemy fleet. Now we save you. Alex nodded. Little brother and big brother? The Ravik looked at him. A rare smile appeared on the terrifying predator's face. Exactly. Together, humans and Ravik pushed forward. The Void Kings began losing ground. Their commander became furious. Impossible. You are supposed to fear us. Alex heard the message and replied. That was your mistake. The human ship moved closer to the enemy flagship. You thought fear was the strongest force in the universe. He looked at the thousands of allied ships behind him. It isn't. Hope is. The Void King commander sent his strongest warrior to destroy Alex personally. A creature even larger than Kar. Covered in black armor. Strong enough to crush mountains. The entire galaxy watched as the two fighters met. The alien laughed. Another tiny human. Alex looked at him. Funny. The alien attacked. What? Alex dodged. Everyone says the same thing before they lose. The battle was brutal. The alien was stronger, faster, more powerful. Alex was thrown across the battlefield again and again. But he kept standing, because that was the thing nobody understood about humans. They could lose, they could bleed, they could fall, but they refused to stay down. Finally, the alien grabbed Alex and lifted him. You are nothing. Alex looked at him and whispered. Maybe. Then he smiled. But I am not alone. Suddenly, the Ravik appeared. The giant predator grabbed the enemy warrior's arm. The two monsters looked at each other. The Ravik growled. You touched my little brother. The alien froze. Because those words carried something more powerful than rage. Loyalty. The Ravik threw him across the battlefield. Alex stood up beside him. The two brothers fought together. Human intelligence. Ravik strength. Together, they defeated the enemy warrior. On the Void King flagship, the commander finally understood. They had not underestimated humanity's weapons. They had underestimated humanity's ability to connect. The commander looked at the battlefield. Every species that had once laughed at humans was now fighting beside them. The smallest creatures, the weakest creatures, the ones everyone ignored, they had united the galaxy. The commander lowered his weapon. Why? He asked. Why would anyone follow humans? Alex looked at him through the transmission. Because we never asked them to kneel. We asked them to stand. Silence filled the galaxy. Then one by one, the Allied fleets moved forward. The Void Kings surrendered. The war that had lasted for centuries finally ended. Years later, the story of the tiny human became legend. Children across thousands of worlds learned about Alex Carter. The human who entered an arena where everyone laughed at him. The human who stood beside the most feared predator in existence. And the human who proved that the strongest species was not the one with the biggest claws or the largest weapons. It was the one that could still care. On a quiet world under a peaceful sky, Alex stood beside the Ravik watching the stars. "You know," Alex said, "I never understood why you called me little brother." The Ravik looked at him. "Because you were small." Alex laughed. "That's it?" The Ravik shook his massive head. "No." He looked toward the stars. "Because my species spent thousands of years trying to become stronger. And humans spent thousands of years learning how to protect." A pause. "That makes you the older soul." Alex smiled. The galaxy had once laughed at the tiny human. But now every civilization knew the truth. Never underestimate humans. Because even the greatest predator in the universe called them family.